Hey Leo, we're here for your weekly tarot love reading October 6th through to October 12th. This is for Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and of course for any of you lovely cross watchers dealing with a Leo romantically. Now I do always like to remind you, Leo, these are general readings. They may or may not resonate, and you're always welcome to take what works and leave the rest. So we're jumping right into it, my lovely lions, and we're gonna see what this week could be bringing towards you when it comes to love. First message coming out for Leo for this week says, my life is not as together as it seems. Interesting. So what this feels like to me, Leo, is that you could be involved with somebody romantically where their life is a little bit of a mess. Now, the problem here is that if their life is a little bit of a mess, that could be trickling into your connection, right? So if somebody doesn't have everything together, if they're feeling a bit lost, if they're all over the place, it's kind of a chaotic, uncertain, unstable type of energy. And the challenge that I see here is that that instability could be coming in and negatively impacting the connection between the two of you, potentially here. Oh, what is this? I wonder if you are happy without me. Interesting. This came jumping out of the deck. So this is fascinating, Leo, because this is definitely suggesting that for some of you, you might be in a period of no contact with this person. You might even be broken up, taking space, taking time apart. Now, the thing is, they're still thinking about you. They're still wondering if you're happy. They're wondering what you're up to. They're wondering what's going on in your life. And I'm kind of getting the message here, Leo, maybe this is somebody who pushed you away because of the first message, which says, my life is not as together as it seems. So maybe they were struggling. Maybe they were overwhelmed. Like I said, maybe they had a bunch of stuff going on and they felt like they couldn't handle all of that at the same time that they were trying to handle their connection with you. It's possible they pushed you away, but the thing here, Leo, is that they're obviously still thinking about you. Tell me more about what could be coming toward Leo for this week, please. I want to feel that way again. Very interesting, my lions. So take a look at that. Okay. I think they want you back. They want to go back to the way things were before. I think they're really missing you, right? And honestly, you guys, what it feels like to me is that they may have got overwhelmed and stressed out, pushed you away, and perhaps there's been a little bit of time now. And what happens is after we get out of the heat of the moment, after we get out of a really stressful experience and we have time for the emotions to settle, sometimes we start to look at things differently. And I feel like this is one of those situations where, like I said, they may have pushed you away, but now they're like, why did I do that? I want to go back to the way things were before. I want to feel that way again with Leo. And so they're definitely having some regret here and they're wishing that things could be different. So very interesting overall energy. Here's what we're going to do for the rest of the reading. We're going to look more at this person, Leo, and we're going to look at you. So we're going to look at their overall energy this week, what they might be feeling, what they might be doing. We'll look at the same thing for you, and then we'll look at the potential outcome. So let's kind of see what's going on with this dynamic. Okay, so tell me about this person who Leo is involved with this week, please. Okay, that's interesting. First card coming out is the King of Pentacles, which is actually, it's like the opposite of this card, right? Like the first oracle message says, my life is not as together as it seems. And that is like, honestly, the exact opposite of the King of Pentacles. This is Earth energy, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. You could be dealing with an Earth sign romantically. So I'm wondering if maybe what's happening is that your person has been working to get their life back on track, to get their life together. Now they might be in this King of Pentacles energy. Don't worry about the gender. This is just the energy. But the King of Pentacles tends to be somebody who is very stable. This is also an energy connected to finances, career. So maybe this is a person who really struggled financially when the two of you were together before. It does look like they could have made some really positive progress in that area. Maybe that's what's spurring them to potentially come toward you this week because maybe they've actually made some improvements in the areas that were a problem for you guys before. Tell me more about their energy this week. Okay. King of Wands, I'm getting the message that they really want to show you that they've grown up and they've changed here, Leo. So this is fellow fire energy, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, okay? Again, don't worry about the gender, but the Kings of the Tarot are the most mature and evolved cards. And so this is someone who is passionate, I can talk, passionate about their life, confident in their life, going after their goals. The King of Wands is a very action-oriented type of energy of somebody who's creating the life they want. So this is kind of interesting, like I said, because the first two cards are directly contrasting with the first oracle message that suggested that their life was not together. This to me is saying things have potentially been changing for them and they might be in a much more stable place. Tell me more about this person's energy this week. And then the Eight of Swords, yeah. And then that's where the doubts creep in, right? This is kind of what I was saying before, Leo, where I'm like, you know, when we're stressed, when we're in the middle of something that's overwhelming, honestly, it is really, really, really hard to think clearly. And it's really hard to make good decisions. That's why sometimes when I do these tarot readings and I see a lot of anxiety and stress, sometimes I'll say to you, Leo, like if you're feeling that way or if your person is feeling that way, that's probably not the ideal time to be making big decisions. You know, wait until things are a bit calmer so that you can think clearly about what it is that you want to do. What I see happening for your person here is that as they've started to get their life on track, they're feeling better, you know, things are moving in a much more positive direction. But now with the Eight of Swords, they're having all these doubts about what happened between the two of you. Did I make the right decision? Was it the right thing to push Leo away? And I think they're recognizing that it was not, because we see in the oracle, they want to feel that way again. They're wondering about you. They're thinking about you. They're wishing things could be different. And so that's kind of the trajectory of what I see potentially going on is like they've been working on themselves. And now that they're feeling more settled, it's kind of like they're going into this place of reflection. And they're like, I think I messed up a really good thing here between me and Leo. So let's see what they could be feeling this week, please. Six of Pentacles. This is a beautiful card of balance and reciprocity. It feels to me like this is them wanting to bring things back into balance in the connection. I also feel like what could have happened before is that you were investing a lot more emotionally than this person. And now they want to come back and they want to do things differently. They want to be investing in you as well. Tell me more about what they could be feeling this week, please. The Moon, yeah. They've got a lot of hidden feelings for you. I really think there's a lot going on below the surface. And again, we're seeing stress and anxiety because the Moon can represent hidden fears, anxieties, and things like that, right? And so I think there's a lot coming up for your person in terms of their feelings for you. And I'm also getting the message here, they're finally starting to admit it to themselves. So I'm intuitively getting the message here with the Moon that maybe they've been trying to push down the feelings that they have for you. Maybe they've even been trying to forget about you, but they can't, right? It's like those feelings keep bubbling up, and it's to the point this week where they can't deny the fact that there's still this emotional attachment to you. Tell me more about what they could be feeling, please. And then the Justice card, yeah. I think you could be getting an apology this week, Leo. It's like this person could be coming in and wanting to take accountability for their behavior and wanting to fix any sort of injustices that they feel that they've caused you within the relationship. So this is them feeling sorry, being sorry, saying sorry for their actions, and hoping that you'll hear them out. Very interesting. Oh, what is this? So what actions are they taking? Knight of Wands, more fire energy, charging in. I do see this person taking some sort of action towards you this week, and they might come in quickly, and I think they're going to come in confidently. Obviously, they're very attracted to you. There's a lot of passion with that Knight of Wands. Tell me what other actions they could be taking. The Two of Wands, they want to talk about the future. So I think that they're actively coming towards you this week because they want to plan and prepare for what could potentially come next between the two of you. Because the Two of Wands is that planning and preparation energy. I think they want to talk about whether or not there's still a future here for the two of you. Let's see what actions they could be taking this week. And then the Empress, wow. The Empress is honestly a really beautiful card to see in a love reading. It tends to do with love, or I was going to say love and nurturing, and they kind of got jumbled in my head. It's a loving and nurturing energy here, Leo. It's somebody who wants to nurture the connection. It's someone who wants to take care of you. And so if you're resonating with the message today, I think you could be unexpectedly even hearing from somebody where they went off to work on themselves. Their life was chaos. They had all this shit going on. They've been working on it, and now they've had time to realize that they miss you and want to be with you. They could be coming towards you this week with the intent of trying to nurture this connection and see if the two of you can reestablish that bond between you. All right, so that's their energy for this week. So let's look at you. Tell me about Leo's energy, please. Let's take a look. First card coming out is the Eight of Cups. Okay. The message that's coming to mind for you, Leo, is that you're tired of the shenanigans. I'm definitely getting an exasperated type of energy where I think you're frustrated with this person. And at this point, you might even be living your life and not even expecting to necessarily hear from them again. So I think you've been trying to detach. You've been trying to move on with your life. Tell me more, please, about Leo's energy for this week. And then the Seven of Wands, you've got your guard up. Okay. So if this person is coming towards you this week, it definitely looks like you're guarded. Okay. It makes sense. If they pushed you away, I think that you want to protect yourself. So if they're now coming around wanting to prove their love for you, I think there's definitely part of you that's like being careful with that, right? Because you want to protect your heart. You don't want to jump back into something that ended up causing you pain. What is this? Three of Pentacles. But that's interesting because the Three of Pentacles tends to be the card of working together to solve a problem. So there's a bit of an internal conflict type of energy that I see here, Leo, where I'm like, with the Seven of Wands, I think you're a little bit guarded. You're a little bit defensive. You're like, can I trust this? Can I bring my guard down? But then with the Three of Pentacles, it does feel like there's a little bit of that hopefulness where you're like, but if I do let them in, could we work through these issues? Could we get to a better place? Could we get back to the way that we were before? So the way I'm perceiving your energy is that you're hesitant, but you are open, I think, to hearing them out. Let's see what Leo could be feeling this week, please. Let's take a look at that. The Fool. Okay. This is a brand new beginning. It's a fresh start. So you could be open to a fresh start, especially if your person comes in with that Justice energy. As we talked about, Leo, that's about a big apology sometimes. So if they're coming in and taking accountability for the ways in which they hurt you, I think you're open to having a fresh start. Tell me more about what Leo could be feeling. The Six of Swords. Okay. But there's that internal conflict again. We're getting this interesting pairing of cards where it's like one card will suggest an openness to hearing this person out and having a fresh start. And then the next card is like, but is it worth it? Should I walk away? Should I invest my time? So I do think there is probably going to be a little bit of an internal back and forth for you. But I mean, the Six of Swords and the Fool could also just indicate that you're open to leaving behind the tough moments in this connection and move towards smoother waters between the two of you. But I do think there's a part of you that's like, is it worth me investing my time and emotions trying to fix this? Or would it be better to leave the past in the past? I think that you might be thinking that this week. What else could Leo be feeling, please? And then the Queen of Wands, that's beautiful. I mean, this is your energy. So it tells me that you're confident, you're self-assured, you're standing in your power. I think you're open to hearing this person out. If you decide to give them a chance, it's going to be because you feel that there's a good possibility for you guys to build something successful. If you don't, I think you'll walk away. Like, this to me is somebody who is empowered. This to me is somebody who does not settle. So I think that you're open to hearing this person out. If what they're saying makes sense to you and it aligns with what you see in the future, I could see you giving them a chance. But if you feel that it does not, or if you feel that you would be lowering your standards by getting back with them, you might not. So I think you're going to be making a confident decision for yourself, whatever that is, right? So let's see what actions you could be taking this week. The Five of Cups. So here's the thing. Part of this process with you and this person, I think you've got a lot that you need to get off of your chest, Leo, okay? And I think that your person, if they're smart about this, is gonna need to give you the time and space to vent your frustrations. Because the Five of Cups is somebody who's been disappointed and let down. And honestly, I think that's what happened with this person. And so in order for the two of you to even have a possibility here of rekindling, I think you wanna get it out in the open. You wanna air your grievances. You wanna have a conversation to be like, here's all the ways that you hurt me. Here's why your behavior was really hard for me. And it's like, I think that's part of your process. It's almost like a therapeutic thing where you need to say it and they need to hear it and acknowledge it and take responsibility. It's part of the path to healing. Let's see what other actions Leo could be taking. The Ten of Swords. I think you're very upset about what happened between you and this person, Leo. This is pain, betrayal, feeling even like they may have stabbed you in the back. The Ten of Swords does tend to indicate a tough cycle coming to a close though. So I do think there is a desire to move forward. I don't think you want to stay stuck in this energy forever. But I think a big piece of the puzzle here is going to be, as you start to talk to your person about how they hurt you, are they showing up in a way that makes you feel seen and heard? And are they doing things that are repairing the relationship in a way that feels good, like it's going on the right path for you? Tell me more about what actions Leo could be taking. The Knight of Pentacles, moving slowly. This to me is smart, you guys. So the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight within the tarot. This is smart. This to me says that you might give them a chance, but you're gonna move slowly. You're not gonna just like jump right back in head first and be like, okay, let's just pretend nothing happened. If you decide to give them a chance, I think you're gonna move slower. So this is, I don't know why this example is coming to mind, but I'm gonna give you the example that popped into my head. Maybe you lived with this person before and now you're no longer living together. And so maybe they come around and they're like, why don't you move back in, Leo? Like, I want you back. I want to prove myself. You can move back in. And I could see you saying, I'll give you a chance, but I'm not moving back in right away. Like, I'll give you a chance and let's see how it goes. So I feel like there could be something like that where your person almost suggests like, let's take this next step. I think they're doing it as a way to prove themselves, but I think you're going to be a little bit slower and you're going to be like, we can try, but like there's certain things that I'm not jumping right back into. You're going to have to like earn back my trust. And if that goes well, then we can talk about those bigger steps in our connection. So moment of truth here, Leo. Let's see what the potential outcome is. Nine of Pentacles, that's really good. This is a very confident, independent, self-sufficient energy. It fits with what I was saying before, where I'm like, there's no settling here. Tell me more. Judgment. That's actually fascinating because this is a card that can be associated with forgiveness and second chances. So it does suggest you could be forgiving this person. Tell me more. Ooh, but the final card coming out was the Devil. So that puts a bit of an interesting spin on it, Leo. With the Judgment and the Devil and the Nine of Pentacles, I feel like this is giving you advice, okay? So what I feel here is that there's been some toxic shit that happened between you and your person with that Devil energy. We know that, especially if they got overwhelmed and pushed you away, that's not necessarily a healthy coping mechanism, right? So you might still have some concerns about their ability to deal with your relationship in a healthy way. So on the one hand, again, we're getting that back and forth kind of energy. With the Judgment, you might be open to giving them a second chance, but with the Devil energy, I still think that you have some concerns here about whether or not they can show up in your connection in a healthy way. And then with that Nine of Pentacles, like I said, I think this is you knowing what you want and not settling for less. What I think is going to happen here for some of you is that you're going to give them a chance, but as I've already been saying, it's going to be very much like I'll give you a chance and we'll see how it goes. I don't think you're fully jumping back in because I do think there is hesitancy with that Devil, but I think you're open to giving them a chance to prove themselves. And that's what it's going to be, right? I think the big thing here is you're going to kind of watch and see. You give them a chance and you're like, okay, so how are they showing up? How are they acting around me? Are they following through on the things that they've said? So I feel for you, you really want to see your person showing you consistent changes in their behavior over time. So this is one of those things where it's like, I think you're open, but it's going to be very clear from your perspective that they need to show up and show you that they've changed. So that's what I think you're looking out for. If they do that, if they continue to show up, and we saw that King energy for them, right? Remember the first two cards for their energy were two kings. If they continue to show up in that mature, evolved energy, I don't see why this couldn't move in a good direction. But if at any point you feel like they are falling back into unhealthy patterns, unhealthy ways of coping, unhealthy ways of relating, I think you'll walk away. I guess the big message that I'm getting here is that you're in a power position, Leo. And I think you know your value and I think you know your worth. So could you reconnect with this person? Yeah. And I think you're only going to do it if it feels right and if they're proving to themselves, I guess, and to you that they've changed. So I think there's potential here. But it's very much like you might give them a chance, but make sure that you're continuing to watch their behavior and see if they're showing up in a way that you need. If they are, good. If not, you know that there's something better for you out there, okay? So that's what I see for the energy for this week. If you enjoyed this reading, you know what to do. Give me a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. And of course, I wish you love and happiness always, Leo, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.